Okay, this is the house that someone built here on Hollywood Boulevard. Apparently, even in them cleaning everything up, they couldn't get rid of this. You guys do any interviews? Wonder, how does this compare in size to your mother's home?
Hey man, this is like almost bigger than my backyard.
Oh, this is unreal. Does this have like a sponsorship? They got a, hey, what's up? You doing any interviews?
What an animal.
Yeah, I got 20 for you. Oh, shit.
I don't want you to get that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Go out there, outfit.
What's your name?
Larry.
What'd you say?
Larry White.
Larry White.
Come on, sit down.
Okay.
What, you got your homeboy with you back here today. So, how close? Want me to get close?
No, you're good.
I'll sit over here.
Yeah, okay. I'll scoot up.
Okay. So now.
Oh, wow. You got a whole thing in here.
Oh, it needs to be a lot more. I'm straightening it up right now, and this is sure gonna help.
Okay, so Larry, tell us your story here. How long did you build this?
Yes, I did. What happened was, my name is Larry White, and I'm a senior citizen. I'm 68 years old, and I lived in a senior citizen disability house until the management companies switched management companies, and they would not take care of the apartment that I was in. They wouldn't help the senior citizens disability people. And so I started taking over the work, and I threatened to sue the manager.
How long ago was this?
This was 2016. And so they would leave safety hazards, they wouldn't follow the rules and regulations, so I threatened to sue them for the amount of labor that I put in to look after their apartment building, and I wind up getting evicted because I spoke up against them, and they had 100 apartments. So they evicted me unjustly, but what happened was I gave up the lawsuit and said I'll start a different path, and I came out after I got evicted, I went to a shelter, and I stayed at the shelter for about 3 months. And after I stayed at the shelter, they got a shared living facility for me. And that turned out to be a nightmare because the people who live in the shared living facilities are the same people who live outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
So they promised me that they would pay 6 months of the rent, but then they changed their mind. The Volunteers of America, which does the shelters, they changed their mind, and they told me I had to pay, but I had spent the money. So I made a decision that I didn't want to go back into the rules and regulations of government housing. And so I decided to come out here when the build this stand. It's called Hollywood Flagistan.
Oh, Flagistan, like Afghanistan.
Likewise. So somebody said, hey, instead of being a flag stand, it should be a flag stand. And so I became Flagistan. And that has been since I've been in Hollywood selling the flags for 4 years.
Oh.
I represent, the purpose of the flags is to represent unity among peace. I really don't sell them, I display them. And people give me donations just like you did for being here. And so what I mainly try to do is help the community. I'm just in it to try to survive. And I love it out here. Hollywood is a very diverse community.
And do you feel safe?
Yes, well, it's never safe out here. I'm from Los Angeles.
What part?
So I was born in South LA, and the majority of my life I spent in Westchester. I'm a telecommunications specialist. I spent the past 45 years working in telephone for GTE, which is now Verizon.
Do you get a pension?
I get Social Security. They gave me a buyout to leave so they wouldn't have to deal with pensions and all of that. They gave me a buyout in 2001 when they went up New York Bell and GTE merged to become Verizon. So I'm a telecommunications specialist, I'm an end-user specialist, I'm a technology developer using Google products and services. So for example, all of these are wired in Google, and everything has a, well, you can see that little white device there, well, will be Chromecast. So that gives me the ability to control each of these televisions with my laptop. So I turn each of these televisions into a monitor for different things, whether it be YouTube.
So you have internet service here?
Yeah, I have a heater, I have a generator there.
Where are you getting internet from? You paid for it or it's free?
The one I have now was given to me. You get it for free at the library, but it's not fast. It's slow. It's like 4G. So for the work I do, which is to produce video, upload it, and...
oh, you have a YouTube channel or something?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Hollywood Rocco, but I have to get to work on that. But what happened was I became disabled in 2001 because after years of working in telephones and working with computers, and I suffered from bipolar depression, and I hurt my arm pulling jumper wire. And what happened was I was retired permanently after my injury, but I sat around on medication for about 7 years. So sat around medication for about 7 years doing nothing but taking pills because everybody said,
Take pills.
The doctor, and they think the doctor and pills are a magic solution. It's not a magic solution. So I worked with my doctors, I don't know, for about 15 years. And then, I was on 22 pills a day. And one day I just said, this is killing me. So right now I haven't taken any pills in like years, and I just stopped taking prescription medication. One day
Were you on psychiatric medication?
I was on bipolar medication for, manic depression.
Do you have spells of it now, or do you feel pretty good?
Well, the purpose of this is more of a medical experiment than it is a business, because I need to find a way for my depression. And sitting at home inside would not help me, and there were several times when I wanted to commit suicide.
But you feel better now?
I feel, even though you can't get rid of it, you have to cope with it. There's no cure, nor do you want a cure.
That's a very wise way to look at it.
You just want to be able to cope with it, because no matter what, you're foreign with it. It's not something you develop. So when you have bipolar depression, and I would say to any parent who sees this, that it's not detectable in a child unless you listen, and unless you listen to what they have to say and how they're feeling, because they don't understand what mood swings are. That's what bipolar depression is. It's extreme mood swings. I knew I always had it, but it wasn't until I saw my psychiatrist that she certified I had it. And that was one of the reasons why Social Security granted my disability claim, because the doctors had proved that I suffered from bipolar depression, that I suffered from all these illnesses and anxieties, and the doctors wrote to the Social Security of the report that yes, he has worked all his life, and yes, he suffers from depression, he has arthritis, and it's not that I can't work, but I can't work what they consider a 40-hour work.
Let me ask you a question. When we were talking about safety out here, if did they just clear out a lot of, we were just talking to a kid down the street.
The biggest problem we have out here is not safety. We have two big problems out here. The first is theft.
Is what?
Theft.
Theft.
That is the biggest problem that people who live out here. I call it, for me, it's not homelessness, even though I'm homeless. But to me, it's urban outdoor living. As you can see, nobody homeless might have all the flags to me. It looks really bad now because 2 weeks ago, the wind and the rain crushed our canopy. So the biggest thing we fear is the weather. The weather is the biggest enemy.
What about drugs or?
Oh, that's always that's always the problem, because that's what happens now is with drugs is that they're so cheap and people are dying from methamphetamine and fentanyl. We had a lady's body turn up on the other side of the tent we had. She was dead. So we knew it was we had a guy we call AWOL. He was a Marine. He stayed up from the dirt patch. He was doing fentanyl and he was doing meth. And the fentanyl is what's killing people. And so when the workers come out, the people who are the health workers, they always leave us a boxes of Narcan, because we never know when we're going to have to use Narcan to revive people from dying.
Are you one of the few? It doesn't seem like you're a drug user. Are you one of the few who's not?
What I do is I drink beer and I smoke marijuana. Okay, the marijuana relieves my pain, and the beer gives me some. So I drink Clamato, this right here, when it's really tomato juice mixed.
Oh yeah.
It's very good and it's very healthy.
Yep.
Yes, you can see here.
Yep.
And so I drink this and I just smoke marijuana. My backball is that I smoke cigarettes, which is really bad.
But what percentage of people that's living out rough are probably doing a hard drug though?
I would have to say the percentage of people that are out in the streets that are doing hard drugs, the hardcore people out here, is probably about 75%. Okay, because what it really is that the people here are lost. They don't have the skills. Many have served time in prison. They don't have the skills to go out and do the labor. And so to escape being here every day with nothing to do with no money, they choose to use meth. Because first of all, the theft problem comes from the meth problem, because for example, they'll look in here and come in here for they're going to buy something or talk to me, but they're really trying to steal something from me.
5-finger discount.
A hit of meth out here can cost as little as $5. It's not very expensive, so it makes it cheap for the residents or the people on the
$5 a meth to keep you up for a day.
That's what. Okay, so you only have to steal a cell phone, sell a cell phone for $10, and you got two days worth of meth. That's why the rate of theft is so high, because the people out here are always stealing something. The ones that are habitual stealers.
What about violence?
We have violence, but not like you would think they have it. Everything is pretty calm, except one or few people who have mental disorders, and that is another big percentage out here is mental disorders, okay? Some of the people they can't be held, okay? I'm being honest. Some of the people who have mental disorders, I really don't know what to do, because they'll come out at nighttime and they'll start screaming, and they'll just be screaming across the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and for no reason. And they talk to people. So the two problems we mainly, I'll say it again and let me reorder it. The problem we have out here is first theft, and then, for example, when the wind every winter has torn this tent down once a year. It was canopy, so I have to rebuild it. And then when it comes down, people steal generators with bolt cutters. So I had 2 generators that cost $1,100. And so, I'm not putting anybody down. And one of the things I always have to remember is I have a lot higher income because I'm not on SSI. I very seldom get people here who are on SSDI. I'm on SSDI, which is social disability. Right. When to get that is permanent.
And you had to have worked too.
Had to have a period of number of credit for a number of years.
And so it's a higher payment.
It's a higher payment. So, I get like...
Well, this is the mansion about here. Well, what about police? Do police ever... what's the city's... What do you think prompted them cleaning up some of what they did? And did those people just move? How are the police in the city interacting with you guys?
Okay, with me, I get along, the police know me on a first name basis, but since I'm doing the flags, they do a lot of surveillance, and they're supposed to, because these flags represent countries that have possible connections to terrorism. You know, like there's Egypt and Israel and whatever country that people, and they're in Hollywood. So the police do their job when they're supposed, they have cameras everywhere. And so they, you know, I have so many different kind of people come here from Iran, or I have the Iranian flag. I have, you know, people from Armenia, people from Ethiopia. So the government is supposed to keep an eye out for the safety of the citizens. And there was a time in Los Angeles where we had a really bad rapport with the police department because they only recruited like racist down to my kid. But after the government took control of the Los Angeles Police Department, they had training for, you know, a sensitivity training. And so with me, I naturally, police, like I said, the police know me by first name. They get along with me. I give them, what I do is give them Blue Lives Matter flags, and they hang them in the station. And I give a lot of police here, you know, flags to show my support, because I support the police. The police are something that is necessary, but the majority of the people here have criminal records and have a lot of problems that they've had with the police. Fortunately, I've never had any problem with the police. They've only on a birth-name basis, and I get a chance to communicate with them, and I also get a chance to communicate with the city through different people that work for the city of the government, and they come down and, you know, ask me a lot of questions. So they really don't have a problem, because this is not necessarily they just a home with, yeah. It's to people that are tourists from other countries. And so I always ask people what is their heritage. I don't say what is their race, or what is this. What I really say is what is their heritage. And since I know a lot about geography and history, that I could talk to that person about their heritage or their climate. And most people who are in the United States or visit the United States, I'll give you a good example of this. The lady from Poland came up and they said, "Hey, we're from Poland." And I said, "Oh, okay." They said, "You probably don't know where that is." And I said, "Is that your flag right there?" And they looked, and that red flag happened to mine. And they looked and went, "Oh, you know about it." But see, when they come to the United States, most...
Oh, well, Americans are pretty ignorant. No,
they don't know. And when the people come here and go, they see all the different flags, they say, "Well, wait a minute, this guy..." It's like a welcoming, like we welcome you to Hollywood. So basically what I do is display the flags so we can grow a greater Los Angeles. I promote soccer, so because the next World Cup tournament, and part of it is to be held in Los Angeles in 2026. So
do you feel like you're an important ambassador for Hollywood?
Yes, I do, and everybody will tell you I am.
All right, well, Larry, thank you for the conversation, and you have a great day.
And thank you. I appreciate the interview, and anytime you want to know anything, and if you want to come back after I rebuild it this week, I'm going to rebuild.
All right, maybe we'll come take a stop in maybe about 10 days. And we're on her down. Oh, maybe we'll come back at night.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll have lights up. Where's that?
All right, well, I live right downtown, so I'll come and see you again.
Come on back and see me, and I appreciate you guys coming and taking the time.
Larry, the Hollywood ambassador.
Or Hollywood, or Los Angeles. Welcome to my city, our city, and we want to thank all the people in Hollywood who visit here, who spend money like me. I keep all the businesses doing business because every time I sell or donate for a flag, I spend it with the local businesses. I buy gift cards and Tommy's to distribute every month to about 5 or 10 people. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what they look like, because remember, a man with an empty stomach, a man with an empty heart might have an empty stomach. Just because he wears a 3-piece suit doesn't mean he's not hungry. So I give out food on that table. I need it out for people. I need the food canned for the people to distribute food. I'll just say this. This is the week of Thanksgiving, and there will be about 50 to 100 meals out here that people bring here just to like a distribute. You know, rather than them go one place, they just bring, like last Thanksgiving, I have 52 lunches to give away for Thanksgiving. So
Sound like we need to come back here.
I really feel good. Yeah, hey, and everybody, look, everybody, not just Tom was, but the police know, they buy the flag, or they want, where they'll just come by to see how I'm doing, and they keep an eye out for me. They know what's going on. And to tell you the truth, I'm very happy for the police that they're here to protect and serve us, and they do their best.
That's a good way to end.